Guys, this is Danny and welcome back to another video. So a little while ago, I made a video about things you did not know on the Hive, and it did pretty well. So I wanted to make a part 2 to that and talk about more things you didn't know on the Hive. So obviously I can't guarantee that you will know everything on this list, but this list hopefully contains a few things at least that you didn't know about. Also, quick announcement. I will be competing in a tournament called the Hive Championship, and it is hosted by the one and only Mr. Skywars Phobin. So I'm excited for this. I think it's going to be awesome, and I am going up against somebody named Evident. I don't exactly know who he is. He sounds familiar, but I think I have a pretty good chance of beating him. You know, I don't know, this Evident guy sounds like he'd be okay at the game, but obviously we know who I am and how good at every game on this server that I am. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to meeting this Evident guy and fighting him on there. But yeah, let's head right into today's video. On the survival games map Northwood, there is a really cool location that you can actually get up to on top of this crane tower over here. So yeah, you can technically get all the way up here, and people will have no idea how to get up because the ladder over there gets stuck, and all you need to do, like I did, is jump on there. There's also a chest up there. So yeah, this is a really cool location. You can also get a really cool view. There is actually a spot in survival games that you can get to, that you can hide at, where no one can get you, and it has to do with this tree on the map SG4. If you jump to this tree over here, and then all you need to do is break away all of these leaves and just keep breaking them away. Break them all away. And then you are now on this tree, and there is no one who can get to you while you are here once you break them away. The jump is impossible. You are now permanently stuck here and can hide here all you want, and the only thing you have to worry about is bows. So I think that's pretty cool. Another thing that you can do that's pretty cool is you can actually block clutch with campfires. I don't know how useful it would be, but you can block clutch. I'm trying to come up with a reason of why this would be useful. Maybe if you did this. If you guys can figure out a point to block clutching with campfires and actually can get it to work and like find a really good spot for it, let me know. I'd love to hear about that. Murder Mystery is actually the only game on the Hive that you can get kicked for AFKing. As you can see, what it says, warning, if you do not move in the next 30 seconds, you'll be kicked. And as you can probably guess, you just get kicked. Really random note, in Murder Mystery, these things make noise. Isn't that just exciting? You may or may not know this, but in the final minute of the game on Murder Mystery, you actually get a tracker. And it's really not amazing because it says hot and there's no one in here. In Treasure Wars, you can actually instantly pearl and just continue to pearl and keep glitching through the block and practically never die. Isn't that cool? That would only really come into use if you had either 80 pearls or were in a free stuff Treasure Wars game in a custom, but it's cool. You know, you can save yourself by throwing endless pearls. So in Skywars, you see these things called the lecterns. You probably know what they are. You want to see something really cool? That you can actually hit through them, and let me show you what I mean by that. Basically, as you can see, the hitbox on the lectern doesn't actually all the way go to the top. You can kind of barely see it there. It doesn't go to the top of the block. So, if I were to get a slab or a stair would technically work too. Maybe. I don't even, yeah, it would. So if I were to sit on this part of the stair, as you can see, I can actually punch through the top of the block. You can't punch down here because of the hitbox, but if you look up a little bit where there's no more hitbox, you can actually punch through a lectern. I think that's really cool. Another thing you probably didn't know, you see these bee nests here? These are actually insta-break. So, you technically have an insta-break spleef block in these beehives. So, if you really want to make a bridge of these, or whatever you'd want to do, they're insta-break. In the new limited time mode game Block Drop, power-ups are actually worth 2 XP. So if you want to level up quickly in this game, you can actually go for power-ups, but I don't think it's the most efficient way, because winning is actually the best way. And even though 2 XP doesn't sound like a lot, it actually does make a difference in trying to level up in this game. And also you get Nemos, so you can, just do this. In Just Build, there actually used to only be meh, good, and love options, but they actually added a great and an okay option, like this. This ladybug spider is love. Thing you totally didn't know as well, the pink glitch still exists. I know, this wasn't actually planned, it just happened, so it does still exist, and it sucks. It is actually possible to get 108 possible taunt points on hide and seek. I believe you may need to be on mobile because you can scroll this thing down really quickly and be efficient, but basically you just need to use the llama balloons, and when you're in the last minute, you need to use, I believe, like a cow or a rabbit. Something, I don't remember the exact formula, but you need to use it, and then basically you need to be able to use a llama at the last second, and it puts you over the edge. Basically, you just have to be really efficient with your time. Not that people care that much, but it is possible, in fact, to get the 108 taunt points in this game. On the Death Run map Sub-Zero, there's actually a pretty cool shortcut. Don't mind the fact that I'm letting everyone go by. It's about the shortcut. Basically, you can use your leap to get on this bird thing. Make sure to crouch because you might go launching off. And then you can jump to the next bird thing and jump on top of here, which will avoid you the fire trap, the water down there, and also that trap, which can kind of be useful. And you can even avoid this one by jumping on top of these. So I think that's pretty cool. The most useful thing in the history of Death Run. On the Death Run map Gardens, there's also a pretty cool shortcut that avoids those things there. So if the person's sitting up there and you're in the lead, you can actually go around the side here on these rocks and avoid all of those. And even avoid these and just head right over here. And yeah, you can avoid 2 traps with that one. It's not as cool as the other one, but it still works to a degree. Another thing you probably didn't know is that the Block Drop limited time mode is the first limited time mode in a year to actually offer a costume reward for leveling it up. The Halloween event, unfortunately, did not. Ground Wars, unfortunately, did not. Sky Royale did not as well, because it was Skywars XP. But Block Drop, you actually get a costume. You get this one, which is really cool that you actually get a costume for a limited time mode. And the last thing of the video has to do with nicking that you probably didn't know, because most of you guys probably don't have the nick feature. It's actually possible, I totally didn't take a lot of tries to get this, to get a nick with 17 characters, which is longer than the actual allowed amount of characters in a username. So this username, Potato Mountain, is impossible to get. And speaking of potato, you can actually get the nick Potato Pie 25. I don't know if it's been happened. I don't believe it's happened, actually. But I have seen the nick Potato Pie. And if I have a screenshot, which I believe I do, I'll put that on the screen. Someone got the nick Potato Pie. And technically, if you really get lucky and get Potato Pie 25, that'd be insane. So yeah, thank you guys for watching today's video. If you did enjoy or learn something new, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, crush the bell to be notified for more videos on the Hive and a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, that's going to be all from me. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day, and goodbye.